friends, I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all over the web, really. For today's project, I would like to show you how to make a tin can luminary, or a tin can lantern. It's actually a lot easier than you think, and I saw these online, but they were just plain old tin cans, which were kind of charming when they showed a bunch of them hanging up with the lights in them or candles in them. But I said, we've got to do something to the tin. We can't just leave it as it is. So I got my trusty napkins and decoupage glue out. And here's the first one, and I'll show you some shots of this in the dark with a few different lights inside, and also how it looks just hanging outside in the sunlight. And here's what we're going to need to get this project completed. A tin can of any size, saran wrap, napkins. You'll also need a few sponge brushes, nail file. If you don't have these bamboo skewers, the nail that we're going to need anyway is going to work okay. Hammer. This is a base coat specifically for metal. Decoupage glue, and I'm using Mod Podge because I'm going to put it in the oven, and I know Mod Podge can stand some very high temperatures. We're not going to go nearly that high. Some wire. Scotch tape. This is regular old printer paper. You're going to need a pattern. You can use any type of paper, and I'll get into that a little bit more next. And if you would like some embellishments to put around your container, you may need glue for these, or they may just be self-adhesive. Before you make a design, just make sure that it fits lengthwise, and you don't want to make anything that's too wide. You want it to fit right where you can see it. So I'm going to go into more detail about that right now, about the designing. If you look up how to make tin can luminaries, the videos tell you some sites and places where you can get other designs. I wanted to kind of keep these simple since this is the first time. I don't want to get anything too complicated. And another idea is, by the way, this is regular old printer paper. I went online and just really quick looked up vintage dragonflies, and these beautiful prints came up, which I copied, and you can actually outline them. So you want to take your can and fill it with water. The bottom is still on. You fill the can with water and put it in the freezer, standing up naturally. And I believe it takes about 5 or 6 hours. I just froze the cans one day, knowing I didn't have time to do the project. And then I froze the cans on Tuesday, and then I went back to them on Wednesday. I'm going to put a couple of holes around the top so that I can put a little chain or wire through there to hang these. And I'm just going to hit, let me pull this back a little bit. I'm going to hit the end of this, and I'm thinking that working with a large thick nail is probably the better way to do this. Now that the can is spray painted, here's how we'll decoupage it. You want to be careful. The hammer putting the nail through left all types of very sharp edges in there. But you may want to put something around the inside, a pot holder or a dish towel, just in case you do accidentally go to grab it. I'm going to take my saran wrap and lay a sheet down. So I have my saran wrap down long enough so that I can roll it, roll the can over it. And we want to separate our napkin so that instead of it being 3-ply, it's just the surface that we want. Take your sponge brush and apply the Mod Podge or Decoupage glue. I'll just say Mod Podge. And apply the Mod Podge over, let's say, a half of the can. And I'm going to take my napkin carefully place it over where I just applied the glue. I'm going to pull it a little bit. I'm going to wrap this saran wrap over the section that I just decoupaged. And I'm using the saran wrap to press out any wrinkles or air bubbles. And the can's got ridges in it, so I'm trying to get into those ridges also. Let's close up on that. You can see the ridges in there, so the napkin is sinking into that. And the saran wrap keeps your napkin from tearing. Now right at this point, I don't want to tear anything or remove anything. This is going into a cold oven. I'm then going to set the oven to 175. And when that alarm goes off to let me know that it's reached 175, I'm going to turn the oven off but leave this sit inside of there. Okay, the can is out of the oven now. I've let it cool off. And now I'm going to take my artist's brush. By artist's brush, I just mean one of these as opposed to the sponge brush. And go along this area here just to tear off this excess paper. I'm also going to do the same thing around the top. Have a little bit of excess left around here, so I'm just going to sand that off with the nail file. Be careful to sand this off going this way and not this way. You don't want to pull off any of your napkin. And now you're either going to take that bamboo skewer that I was telling you about, or the same nail that you used when you were hammering the holes inside of here, and just go around. Now I'm using a darker napkin, so it's a little harder to see. On a lighter napkin you can actually see. If you hold this up in very bright sunlight, the napkin is so sheer you can see right through to where the holes are. And now I have all of the holes poked out. And what I'm going to do is just add one more coat of decoupage glue, let it dry. Then I'm going to add one final coat of decoupage glue and come right back once that's dry. It's also a good idea to keep the decoupage glue going in one direction. Alright, this is dry now. Got a little bit of a gloss on it. And except for the wire, we're done. So I'm just going to add a little wire into this. Now at this point on the other tin can lantern that I did, I added some of these gemstones around it. I don't want to do that for this one because I'm going for a different look. All I did with the other one was I just placed some bead glue down, glass bead glue, and I put these little gems on wherever I want. Here these are hanging in a garden window in the kitchen, and there's some birdies in the background. And this was the one that has the gems on it, so that during the daytime it actually looks very pretty. And this is the one that I just finished. There's some reflection on there from something else glittering in the window. There's no glitter on there. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm always happy to help. As always, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. And some of you guys have just been so kind with your compliments and comments. I love hearing those. Special hi to Jennifer. I also wanted to say a special hello to Carol. I think you're out there in California. And Puppy Love, a fellow pit bull owner. I'm not sure where you live, but I wanted to say hi. So I hope you're doing well, you guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.